I'm Mark Keefe from American Rifleman, and I'm here today at NRA headquarters, and I'm interviewing Pulitzer Prize-winning writer Stephen Hunter. Now, Stephen's a novelist. He was, of course, one of the most well-regarded film critics in the United States. But what a lot of people don't know is Steve is a gun guy. He's a real shooter. Thanks for being here, Steve.
It's my pleasure, Mark.
Now, Steve, you've had a lot of different careers as a writer. But one thing that's come through, especially in your novels, is your passion for firearms.
Right.
How did you get involved in shooting?
You know, there was never any getting involved in it. I was always in it. It's a very, very ancient behavior for me. I can't specify the first moment I saw and loved a gun, but it's got to be sometime in the early 50s. I remember a kid next door had a .22, which I thought was neat. I remember visiting an uncle's farm in Missouri. They had guns, and I was always annoying everybody by saying, I want to shoot the gun, I want to shoot the gun. Can I shoot the gun? Stevie, shut up, get out of here. Give me another beer, you know, that sort of thing. Television and the movies in those days were freighted with images of guns, with guns used heroically and nobly and honorably. And I absorbed all that. So the gun, there wasn't a single moment when the gun, that I can recall, when the gun first became obvious to me. But it was clear to me from a very early age that the guns were very vivid to my imagination, and that I had very powerful responses to them. And I make my living from my imagination. I need stimulation, and firearms have been really a reliable stimulation for close to 60 years now. I mean, it's been a very happy life, and I've benefited immeasurably from my passion for guns.
Obviously, shooting's a big part of your life. What do you like to shoot?
I shoot handguns, 2 or 3. Believe me, I'm not by any means representing myself as a particularly good shot. I mean, it's fundamentally an athletic event. It's fundamentally a function of hand-eye coordination and muscularity and stamina, all of which I'm not particularly gifted with. But I do shoot a lot. In fact, I probably shoot too much. And in my writing, I focused on 2 forms, the novel and the 800-word critical evaluation. And I did nothing but those for close to 40 years, and eventually I became okay at each of them. But with the guns, I'm sort of flighty. I flit from house of guns to house of guns to house of guns. Tried bench rest, tried sporting clays, tried IPSC, I hunt now a little bit. I go to the range and just try and keep my skills up at hitting target in a fairly close combat scenario. I went through a project last year where I decided I had to be a better bullseye shooter, and I spent the summer trying to master that, and I didn't get very good at it, but I got better at it. And you know, I own a rifle I had built very much like an M40, and I love to shoot that. I even got the sniper data book, and I've had some custom rifles built. I've had some custom pistols built, and I just sort of incoherently, I'm a dilettante. You know, I go from gun to gun, from sort of project to project. I'll get interested. I try and solve the eternal mysteries of the gun. You know, why are some men so much better than others? How good can I get? What is the relationship between, it's fascinating to me, the relationship between my hand and the gun, and what does the muscularity of the arm play with it? I find that when I work out regularly with hand strengtheners, that tends to improve my shooting, not enormously, but enough so that I notice it. I got a class 3 I've got two full automatics. I've got a Bren gun. I'm sorry, a Thompson and a Swedish K. And just for sheer, the pleasure of shooting a Swedish K is almost a narcotic. I mean, it just burps them out. There's this steady drumbeat of firepower. It's just fun. That's really, I guess non-shooters, I run into people who are just physically scared to the point of sickness in the presence of the gun. And I just wonder what's going on in their mind. And because to me, every single thing I've done with guns, even when I get frustrated at my own incompetence, or when I, as we all do, show up at the range without any magazines, or find myself wondering why the gun isn't firing and discovering I've put a 40 in a 45, even with all that, it's always fun. It's just such a pure pleasure to spend 2 hours gun in hand. And people say, do you feel powerful? Are you imagining killing? And the truth is, no, I don't feel powerful. What I feel is the overwhelming charisma of the gun. And Steve Hunter goes away. And I like being on vacation from Steve Hunter. As great as his life is, he gets sick of it, just like anyone gets sick of his life. And the gun is a kind of a medication for relaxation and I don't know, calming oneself down. And so, no, I don't feel power. I feel quite the opposite. I feel the return of calmness. I feel the vanishing of all my petty grudges and, interpersonal difficulties with the rest of the human race. All that vanishes, and there's just, I vanish. There's just the gun and my futile but game attempt to get more out of it than I really have any right to. So.